Ooh, good morning, LG.
Good morning.
Is that a little too much? Is it too much, too early?
No.
Is it too little, too late? No, it's never too little, too late. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Reverend Guitar Circle R Ranch. I am Ken Haas, and I am holding a Reeves Gabrels RG-1. I'm completely fascinated with this Rev G3 pedal. Really significantly more gain than what I usually use here in the Circle R, which is the Angry Charlie. Charlie's angry. Charlie's always pissed off about something. You know, they both sound good. That Angry Charlie is a tad bit more focused, I think. Boy, I was whacking on that G string pretty hard there today, wasn't I? This guitar is brand new. We set this up last night for you today because our customer service inbox got a flood of questions about this bad boy. And there's so much to talk about here. But I would like to start by, even before I got the flood of questions on this, we're excited to bring this color back. This is the sort of black flame maple, I guess we call it, but it always turns out to be sort of a charcoal color in practice, because if you want to show off the flame of the maple, there has to be some contrast.
Right.
Black flame maple is just a black guitar. That's silly.
Right.
Reeves has one of these that he refers to as the tabby, which is one of his favorite reverends.
Right.
And that is, I believe that the Reeves tabby is probably from 2011, right when we started doing the Wilkinson on the RG model officially. So 2011, 2012, there's still a DiMarzio double blade pickup in the neck of that original tabby guitar, unless Reeves has changed it out, which is entirely possible. I haven't seen a picture of it in a little while, but I think the last time I saw it, and Reeves got one that had a pretty nice flame on it, and that's been, as a matter of fact, I think he actually has a sustainer in that. I think that was
He
that
must.
was. I
That-
think
that's
that's
his
a
thing.
sustainer guitar.
Yeah.
He might chime in and correct me on all of that stuff, which is fine. He should. But the tabby guitar comes out a lot. It comes out in the Cure. If I'm not mistaken, it's his wrong number guitar. I might be mistaken on that too, but I'm pretty sure when I've seen them play wrong number, he's played that guitar. And we haven't done, of course, this guitar in this color in a while. And since we did this color, we've done, you know, some things that we consider upgrades for sure. But as I'm very, very fond of telling everybody here, that a signature guitar is a work in progress. And, you know, we started doing this Reeves model in 2008, and it has transformed into many, many features since then. And this is where this guitar sits now. We didn't have Railhammer pickups in 2008 at all.
They didn't exist.
They didn't exist. And Reeves was, he was, I believe, Joe's first signature pickup. I think he developed Reeves's pickups and Bob's pickups about the same time. It sounds about right to me, yeah. And so Reeves, we do an exclusive cover on the pickups. We do this brushed nickel cover. We don't do that on any of the other ones. And it looks cool, and it really, that brushed nickel, I think, really sets off this flame maple black. And so one of the questions that I had about the black flame maple, before I get on to the rest of the guitar, was the black flame maple is actually flame maple. A veneer is a veneer. It's not a photograph. So it is actually wood that is just cut very, very thin. It allows you to make think of it this way. There's a bunch of different ways to think about this. But it allows you to make one piece of beautifully flamed maple go much further. Like you, instead of just making one guitar out of it, you can make, you know, 8 or whatever it is.
Right.
Which in itself is kind of cool if you're into like a conservationist kind of thing. But the Reeves model and these solid body guitars, especially the ones with the bolt-on necks, the Carina sounds good all on its own. And because of where Carina sits tonally, being a little bit brighter and having a little bit more punchier mid than a mahogany, while not being like as bright as an ash or not having quite the low and highs of an alder, the Carina sort of sits in its own spot, which sounds really cool. And we didn't need to brighten up the Carina with a 1/4-inch maple cap on this guitar. So the flame maple on the Reeves models is just for looks. Same with the King Bolt and the Charger RA. I mean, it is, the flame maple is a cosmetic thing because guitar players like it. Reeves likes it. I like it. You like it. You're here. You know, it's a good look on an instrument. So, so that's that. So it is actually wood. So every single one of them is slightly different. Depending on how it was placed in the body and, you know, where it came from or whatever, because a veneer is the actual product. It's not a photograph. So there's that. So that hasn't changed on this model all along. We've been offering it in the orange flame maple all along, or not all along, but we started doing the orange in like 2013 or something, and it's been one of RG's favorites ever since then, and so we've just kept it. The orange one has black pickups on it, and now we did the black one with the brushed nickel pickups on it because it just really pops it out. The contrast is really, really cool, and the brushed nickel kind of goes with the saddles on the Wilkinson, and just looks great with the color. The plastic is on the pickguard on this, or else the pickguard would be popping some pretty high gloss to sort of match the headstock. And since we've been doing the Reeves model, we've added the triple tree. The Reeves guitar also features a neck which is proprietary to the Reeves models, the RG-1 and the RG-Sus. It's a little bit beefier per Reeves's request, and it also has the biggest fret profile that you can get. Well, you could probably get some railroad track, I guess, but that would be really, really hard to put on a guitar neck. Be heavy as hell, too. But it has very large frets and a little bit beefier neck pocket profile. And then when you get down to it, there's a cutaway on the top of the body to get maximum play out of the trem. Reeves goes for a minor third on the G string on his trem. So let's see, how did we do right out of the gate? Because this can be adjusted in the setup a little bit, but this is one right out of the back. So let's see how we did. Here's your G, there's your minor third. Well, I got a little bit more play on this one even than that. I can take it up to the major third. And this is a thing that you can see on an old video with Reeves and I, where he talks about the intervals on the strings when you're pulling the trem up, and how he changes chords by using his trem arm, and that is in the advanced classes taught by him and not as demonstrated by me, my friend. So set up in the back, designed to, designed to play great right out of the box, of course. Three-way switch, traditional bridge neck, and bass contour controls up top. When both pickups are on, there is a push-pull that takes both pickups out of phase. The out-of-phase thing requires both pickups to be on, so this push-pull pot doesn't really do anything when you're in the bridge or the neck position. But you can hear it when you go to the middle. And the way the phase things work, because you have both pickups on, when the pickups are out of phase, certain frequencies are canceling each other out and other frequencies are allowed to go through. So you get this kind of nasally mid thing as some of the frequencies around that mid-range are canceled. And there's some volume loss when you do that, but I mean, that's normal, so it's to be expected, but it does allow you to do a really cool sort of funk sound. Reeves loves this. We do this with Pete's East Sider T. We do this on one of Greg's models, I believe. The other cool thing about it, where you don't notice it so much, is when you have the gain on, because you are overdriving sort of the whole spectrum of things. And so for some reason, with tube screamers or heavy overdrives on, you don't get a significant volume loss. So here's my Angry Charlie. Pickups in phase, and then pickups out of phase. You can hear it sounds a little bit cleaner, a little more clarity, even with that amount of gate on. And then, of course, there's the abs. Because you have to.
Right.
There's so many tonal options to choose from here. The neck pickup with the bass contour off. I like this so much better than coil tapping. I mean, first off, both coils are on, so you're still hum canceling even with the bass contour rolled off. But you get just a really beautiful sort of jangle on this. Both pickups on for really what's a high output pickup, you know? Let's get some of this metal out of here. It's hard for me to not have the metal on. Fun with pedals. I don't even need the camera. I'm just going to hang out in here for the rest of the day.
Okay.
What do you think, LJ?
No, you can't. You have to work. We've got that meeting. We've got that other thing. Yeah. Sorry.
Back in the day. Back in the day. I love it. Yes, the RG. Been thinking about Reeves a lot this week. There's I've got a little Reeves blog coming out on the website. The Cure is getting ready to kick back into action again, so you'll be hearing about all the goings on there.
They already released
we'll
the
keep you posted.
European dates in October.
Rock is back.
And there's many. So if you're in Europe, they're coming to a town near you.
And then they're coming here after, folks.
Well, we don't officially know that yet. Nobody officially
Oh, I
knows
don't
that.
think it's that big of a secret, though. But by all means, fly to Europe to see him. I want to. I wish I could.
We have people who watch us who live in Europe.
Of course we do.
Okay.
Of course we do.
You were talking about the veneer.
I was. Okay.
One question that I got
Okay.
was why, if it's flame maple, and I didn't know how to explain it to this person because
Sure.
I'm not a paint expert. You are.
Okay.
If it's flame maple, why doesn't it like catch the light and move and stuff like that? And I know it has something to do with the satin finish, but I don't know why.
Interestingly, it does kinda.
Yeah, but not like you see a really
Not well. So the difference between a satin finish like we have on this and a high gloss finish, I mean, you're putting, 3 or 4 mils or more of clear coat on top of the flame maple. Or back in the day, you were putting lacquer on it,
Yeah.
and you were putting multiple coats on it so that it was thick. And you're looking at the reflections of the maple in the thickness of the paint, basically. So when you look at it at different angles, you're seeing it sort of, imagine you put a pane of glass over the top of something and then
Right.
look at it, so you're getting that sort of extra thickness or texture. And the satin is just not that thick, so you're cutting down on the reflections, I guess, by it being a satin finish. So you're not getting some of the 3D effect that you're looking at. Imagine like looking at something through a lens, especially on like a carved top or the arm contour or whatever.
Yeah, I
And so
get
the lens has sort of a curvature,
Yeah.
and then you've got clear coat all over that. If you look at our like Roundhouse FM, you see all of that sort of shimmer on that top because you're also adding the curvature with the thickness of the paint to it. That's kind of a good question. That's an interesting question. I like that. Keep them coming, LG. What else you got? Talk to me.
Okay. Some other people have questions. Simply Pie says the headstock angle changed on that RG, correct?
It did. We had an experiment where we were trying to do a bound headstock on this model for a couple of years. And in order to effectively do a bound headstock and have it look clean, it should be a tilt back. And I can actually demonstrate this graphically right here if you would like me to. Sorry, real professional looking. So here is the Penny. Tell me if I'm in the camera.
You're totally in the camera.
So
Right in the
here is the Greg Koch Gristle 90 with a tilt back headstock inline 6, and you can see it going straight back. And so here you can see how the binding is coming up the neck, and then the binding does another line and goes back and down around the top of the headstock. In a traditional bolt-on maple neck style non-tilt headstock, this curve is problematic for plastic binding. And we thought the guitar would look super cool with the bound headstock for a while, and we put the tilt back headstock on it. And while it worked functionally great, there's also a thing with bolt-on guitars where this wood here was removed for the tilt back, right? It doesn't need to be there anymore. And when we do a tilt back headstock like that, those tilt back set necks are 3-piece Carina necks for strength. So we don't put like a volute here on the tilt back headstock. And it was outside the box, I think, a little bit for RG. The neck got a little thin. And it was a combination of things. I mean, our neck shape changed a little bit, because of the tilt back thing, it got thinned down here. And then our set neck profile seems a little thinner, and it sort of went along those lines. And basically what it came down to was Reeves preferred the bolt-on neck and wanted a little more beef in there. And so we went back to the neck that he prefers, which is why the headstocks aren't bound anymore. And we have the neck down pat, so that seems to be where we're at the moment. So that was a complicated answer to a simple question. But indeed, the RG models for a couple years do have some tilt-back headstocks. This is true, and those are cool. I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're neat. But this is what the man prefers. And like I said, these models are something that's always in flux, and so we want to strive to do what the man prefers.
I just have a nice story here.
I like stories. Tell me a story, LG.
Rob says he met Reeves at a show in New Haven about 5 years ago and asked about asked a question about one of his reverends. And then he says he basically gave me the Premier Guitar tour of all his equipment. That's Reeves.
That's really cool.
That's a very Reeves
I like
story.
that. Yeah, that's fun. I mean, like a lot of the artists, that we work with, Reeves walks it.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, he's like into it, and it's really, really cool. I have learned a lot about gear from Reeves over the last few years, and I am often one to ask him what his current favorite overdrive pedal is and then go and buy it.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, for sure. And it's cool because it's always it's one of those things. It's always a work in progress. You should see his home studio. I got the tour of that a few months ago, and it was rad. So, and he's got some neat vintage stuff too. I mean, he's got a really, really cool collection of guitars. But of course, my favorite part is seeing all those black and white cases lined up.
Right.
Indeed.
I have a couple of Railhammer questions.
I love Railhammer questions. Fire away. The blades under the wound strings take a smaller slice of the magnet. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What?
They know what they are.
Oh, okay.
Scott wants to know if there's any chance for more brushed nickel Railhammers.
There is not. The brushed nickel are exclusive to Mr. Gabrels. And so think of the bridge pickup as a sort of a slightly higher octane Alnico Grande, and the neck pickup being designed to balance well with it. And they work great for heavy overdrive tones, but as you can hear, they do absolutely beautiful, clean sounds, like a real shimmery type thing on the low end, which of course you can dial in with your bass contour. So they are a just killer all-around humbucker. So the brushed nickel is exclusive to Reeves, indeed.
And relatedly, Nick wants to know if Reeves' signature Railhammers are a clean slate design, or are they based on another Railhammer? Like, did we take the Hyper Vintage and tweak it?
Yeah, more or less. Because originally the Space Hawk had an Alnico Grande in it.
Okay.
And the Alnico Grande, Reeves really dug, obviously, and then the Alnico Grande led to this set. I mean, he basically told Joe, don't be afraid to give it a little more gas, and then this set was born. And so the original Space Hawks, if you find one, have an Alnico Grande in the bridge and a Hyper Vintage in the neck. And what we did with the neck pickup here was just tailor something to balance a little bit better with the bridge pickup. So there you have it.
And then Patrick wants to know if there's going to be a gold version of the new Corgan Railhammer.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
We shall see.
I know he's crazy about gold.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've met the man.
Yeah, I know. And then somebody, I'm not going to highlight the comment, folks, because I'm not going to talk smack about another YouTuber, but somebody mentioned that, and Tim and I have been getting this lately, both in the customer service box and on the socials.
Okay.
People taking apart their guitar before they plug it in and before they play it. And that seems to be for us, that seems to be not a great idea. That, play it first and then if you want to break out your screwdriver
We
and
do
look at it.
set up all of the guitars in house,
Right.
and my techs are quite good at it.
Right.
So typically when stuff leaves here, it's pretty playable. You know, I mean, the idea is, and this sort of stems from, you know, every time she asks me a question, I'm like, I feel like part of me just wants to go, yes. And then part of me is like, tell the story. And then the part of me is like, don't tell the story. Tell the story.
Tell the story.
And I'm like,
It's good
and then we're still here at 2:15, you know.
That's okay.
I want to be the best playing guitar in the store when you go into the store. And so we treat all of the guitars equally. So when you buy a Reeves Gabrels model, Reeves, this is crazy, but Reeves likes a specific setup with a specific string. And he uses D'Addario XLs and he uses 9 through 46s, which is a hybrid set with the top 3 strings from a 9 set and the bottom 3 strings from a 10 set. Plays in standard tuning. We set up all of Reeves's models when they leave here, just as if we were sending them to Reeves. So there's no difference. So if you walk into anywhere, Bees Music in Mount Pleasant, Wildwood, Joe's,
Tone Shop.
Russo, yeah, I mean, whatever, and grab a Reeves off the wall. It's going to play just like the one we sent to Reeves. So yeah, taking them apart before you demo them, that's a new one on me. I mean, I'm all for taking them apart and getting in there and seeing what's going on and stuff like that. But I mean, we spent a lot of time setting up these trems.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, they should go together. Say stretch out the strings a little bit, and they should go together fine. But that being said,
But would that mess up the Wilkinson? I mean,
guess
it wouldn't
it's
be
possible.
as much of a problem on a hardtail, right, as it would be on a
yeah,
trem.
right. Well, yeah, the trem is going to be a little bit more complicated, yeah. But
Right.
blocking the trem first would make that, like, as if you were just changing the strings, you wouldn't necessarily pull the trem off the guitar when you were changing the strings. You just put like a block behind it or whatever. However, we use clothespins here, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. Yeah, unusual, but for sure. Yeah. I mean, they ship here ready to play.
Right. And then if people have been asking Tim, like, this looks like it's got a this or a that, like a high fret here or whatever. Play it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things at guitar shows. That it didn't tell you anything at all. There's so many, you know,
Right.
I don't know, it's weird. But playing it is, of course, the story.
Right.
That's, of course, where it's at. One of the things that we've been having in customer service a lot, too, that's probably worth mentioning because we have this conversation. There's a lot more to setting the action on the guitar than just raising or lowering the bridge or raising and lowering the saddles. The guitar bridge, nut, and truss rod all work together to create the action that you want to feel in your hands when you play. And we set up the guitars here so the nut slots are done before they're left here. So there's no need to buy a new Reverend guitar and be like, well, you know, my tech worked for the dude in Kansas and he does all the rock star guitars when they come to town. Or we've heard every story that there is imaginable. And cool, man. I mean, all due respect. I mean, that's great. And then we hear complaints about guitars and we get them sent back to us and we adjust the bridge and adjust the truss rod and it's perfect. So there's not like, I have yet to have a guitar come back to me where somebody says the nut slots were filed too low and not be able to get a perfect setup out of it.
Yeah.
Because, and I think what happens is, and honestly, I'm not like pointing fingers at anybody or anything like that. I totally get it. In this industry, we have been shipped, not us, but I mean, like my main competitors have been shipping guitars that have had absolutely no setup for decades. And so the first thing that somebody needs to do is, you know, adjust the nut slots and get the guitar dialed in. I buy and sell vintage guitars, and I get guitars in here that I have green set up, and green is like, I can't believe people have been playing this thing for 35 years because nobody ever paid any attention to the nut the whole time they had this guitar. So I totally understand why you would get a new guitar and think that these things need to be done.
Right.
But they don't. You should spend some time playing it first and really see what, I think that's what Penny's sort of
Right,
getting
that's
at.
what I'm trying to
And really see what you think
Right.
in the instrument before you just send it off to a tech to have it looked at, because unless something weird happened in shipping, which happens.
Totally.
And in this day and age, with so many boxes going through UPS and FedEx, they are not the most careful people in the world. And these things getting slammed on the floor of the UPS truck after they've been launched 20 feet will knock things out of adjustment. There is no question. But like I said, I have yet to come across something that can't be fixed with a little tweak of the bridge and the truss rod. So.
And we're all human. We're human here. You guys are all human. We're all human.
I'm not human, but
Yes, you are.
she's
So-
trying to say that I'm infallible.
No, I've never said that. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry too. Are people
I mean,
yelling at you on the internet? Am I starting
No,
shit here?
we're getting some sort of weird spam that I have to go in and block every so often.
Oh, that's weird.
I know. I
What
don't
the
know
hell
why.
is-
It's totally it's non-related. I just block it and shut them up.
But the spammers are paying attention.
I guess.
Go bots.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, we're all human.
Yeah.
We're human. The UPS driver's human.
Oh,
The people that work at the store is human. All the techs are. Everybody's human. So there's.
and there's things that happen.
But we're here to help. if
Yeah, of
something
course,
happens.
of course, and
We're
that's
glad to help.
and we have a customer service rep here who's really knowledgeable on all things electric guitar
Yeah.
and is really good at explaining this stuff. And there's things that happen too. I mean, the guitars change climates. We always have a couple times a year when it starts to be really cold or it starts to be really hot. And these things are made out of wood and wire, and wood changes with humidity and wire does not.
Yeah.
And that is not unique to our brand. That is all brands of electric guitar. And so there's things that we do to combat that, but sometimes things need to be adjusted or cleaned up, and we're, like Penny said, we're happy to help. We are here to help. What else you got, LG? Talk to me.
I have other non-RG questions. You ready?
I would love a non-RG question, unless it's, are you ever going to do this in this color? Because then I'm going to say, I don't know.
It's not.
Okay.
Jose says the 25th anniversary Sensei, he likes it.
Me too, bud.
Does it have
Me
a
too.
limited number produced? And can you share what that
We
number is?
don't know what that number is going to be yet, because we have decided that we are going to manufacture that in the fourth quarter of this year and make it available into next year slightly.
We decided that
And
this week.
Especially the Junior itself, we got an overwhelming number of orders for it, and more than we could fulfill. We are a small company, so pretty much everything we do is in a limited number, to be honest with you. We are currently doing, I want to say, 640 something guitars a month here, which seems like a lot, but in guitardom, that's,
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot. So I don't know what the numbers we were looking at initially, but I mean, I think initially we were looking at less than 60 or 70 a piece on those models. Probably 48
I
bases
think
and
less
maybe,
than that.
yeah, I think it worked out to be, oh yeah, you're probably right.
I think
it worked
more
out to be
30.
like 36 bases and 56 of each of the guitars or
Something
something.
like that, yeah.
Something in that realm. And again, I don't know how many more we're going to make, but I mean, we instantly took orders for everything we had in production, so we're going to make some more in the fourth quarter, because you know what? 25th anniversary only comes once. And so
Right.
if we bleed a little into the 26th with that model, hey, so what?
Well, we didn't launch it till June,
True.
so we get a whole year. I
We
guess,
didn't
in
want.
theory.
We wanted to launch it earlier.
Well, that's everybody knows.
But that's a whole other story.
Uh,
And if I recall, too, those 20th anniversary double agents went a little bit longer than a year, too, because
they did.
we did all those flame top double agents. Remember that?
Yeah,
And
they did.
and people went crazy about those. And I'm reminded constantly because my homegirl, Stacy D from Bad Cop,
Oh,
is out there rocking that 20th anniversary double agent OG. And every time I see a picture of her, I'm like, those were cool.
Luis wants to know if we're going to have more Naylor interviews, but not about Greg.
Oh, yes.
He thinks that Reverend fans would love to learn and see his design process, what inspires the shape of like the HP.
That is on the drawing board.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
indeed. That is cool. Plus, he owes me coming down here for a sit down for this show too. So we plan on calling in all those credits. Yes, we had all those things planned before all the COVID stuff.
We did.
And then some of those things were kind of slow to get back rolling again. And
Well,
Joe had some family stuff. Yeah. We have a kid going to college. There's so much going on.
Right.
And that is sort of for us to kind of work into our schedule. But that is definitely all things that are being discussed. So we do want to do some more in-depth interviews with Joe, and and walk you through his design process and interview him on what he's thinking about things. The one with Greg is really interesting. It's really fun to sort of hear him talk with an artist about the two of them doing it, and you can find some footage of him and Reeves doing the same thing on YouTube.
With the, not here in our building, but they did it Reverb and Wildwood, right?
Reverb.
No, Reverb.
Reverb.
You did it at Wildwood.
Yeah. But Joe and Reeves did that at Reverb. It was very cool.
Yeah. So you can look at their channel or their site and see that.
Yes.
Simply Pie is back, and he wants to know if there's any news on the Manta Ray HB or something similar.
Not yet.
We are working on it
Working on it.
actively.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Wait, check this out. Reeves, RG's a big fan of the Afterneath, and so I feel like I'm doing Reeves justice and Earthquaker justice by mentioning that this guitar sounds killer through the Afterneath. What do you think of that? I'm sitting here holding this guitar, and you're making me talk.
I know.
It's not fair.
I know.
That ain't right.
I have a couple of quick questions for you, and
Sure.
then
Okay.
one person wants you to tell a story that I don't know if you're going to want to tell or not, but that's okay. Tom says, are the 25th anniversary models shipping yet?
Oh yeah, they're shipping. They're shipping. Check with your dealer as far as availability and when their stuff is coming or whatever. It is possible that the dealers have orders for them, and so when they're getting to the stores, they're being shipped out to people
Yeah, they may
without
not
going
even
on the
be
store
shelves.
websites.
Yeah.
I can't speak for what's going on at every individual dealer anymore, I'm afraid. But yes, indeed, they are. Actively.
Matt would like to know if you know when the new forum is going to launch, and will the serial number tool come back?
That is all also a work in progress. Penny and I is the forum down again?
I don't know.
Last I heard, the forum in its former format that's a lot of FOR words. Forum, former format.
Alliteration.
Was working. If it's not, please, just drop a line and we'll get with the people that host it immediately. There's so many issues with the forum, you guys, and I'm sorry for you longtime users and stuff. I like it too. The technology that hosted the old serial number sheet no longer exists, and we can't integrate that technology in with new software. And so the old serial number, the way that we looked it up with the first 4,100 guitars, or however it was, 4,300 guitars, were on this thing, and you could look up the models and colors, and there was a way to cross-check all of that, all the original models, the Avengers and Roccos and Slingshots and all that. And we've just basically lost the ability to host that piece of software. And so it just disappeared on us in the most frustrating of ways. And the people who created it can't find the damn thing. Computers, man. Oh, good Lord. The forum is much the same thing. The technology that keeps that going is not interfacing with modern, what do you call it, like operating systems and infrastructures. And so it just keeps crashing down. And getting the information out of it onto a newer platform is proving to be much more difficult than we expected. You would think there would be, an export button, and there's not. And so we have people that understand these things looking at it, and I should have some answers for you on that within the next week or two.
We have a web team, and they're the ones who built our website.
Yeah, the guys who built the new website are looking at all of this and trying to come up with solutions for us.
Real smart.
And so we're not just blowing it off.
Yeah.
We at least want that information to be researchable, if not have the ability to move it forward in some way. Because there is a real treasure trove of info on the early guitars on that forum, and I don't want to lose that stuff either. Plus, the Reverend Guitars forum was always just the nicest guitar forum. Like, nobody ever went on there and like called people stupid or, I don't know, whatever. It was just like it was a group of it was just a group of really nice people, and people had like honest gear questions, and people that knew about had the information, shared it in an honest fashion, and there was just no BS going on there, and it's a cool place. So we're working on it, and sorry for the inconvenience, y'all, but I just want you to know that we do give a shit. Like, we're on it. We care. I was accused of not giving a shit in a Facebook message the other day, and it hurt me deeply because
just because you wouldn't do what that guy wanted you to do.
Yeah, I know, but I care. Damn it. And sometimes technology is, I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, you ready for story time?
No, I'm not ready for story time because I had one more customer service question that I wanted to address.
Okay.
And I'm going to address that really quick because I'm hopefully story time gets me that much sooner to lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, I had somebody ask me a very specific question about the Pure Tone jack. And I talked about this when we launched it, and I haven't talked about it since. I'm going to have to come right up to the camera again, LG.
Yeah,
so you're going to have to tell me if I'm holding this in a way that it's focused and that people can see it. How are we doing?
Oh, yeah, it's in focus.
Okay, so this is a traditional input jack, I believe, could be made by Alpha? I don't know who makes this. But we use this jack in the guitars for years, and most companies use a jack that looks something like this, and there's nothing wrong with it. The sleeve of your 1/4 inch, you know what the best way to describe this would be if I actually had a cable. Hold on. I wasn't quite prepared, LG. I wasn't quite prepared, but I'm prepared now.
Wandering all over the set. Why don't you?
Wandering all over the set. So, this is an ad for Pure Tone. I don't make this product, by the way. Somebody else makes it, and I just purchase it. So, with a traditional input jack, when you plug in your cable, the sleeve is the negative and the tip is the positive, correct? Mm-hmm. Right. So, the sleeve, your negative, is making contact in basically the sleeve itself. And you can see you wire it here because that is what is contacting the negative point of your 1/4 inch jack. Or this isn't the jack. I don't know. What am I even talking about? The male.
The plug.
The plug. So the sleeve itself of the jack is what is making contact with the negative, and then this bent over piece of metal here is making contact with the positive, the tip, and that comes down and you attach your wire to it here. And this is functional. Over time, this sort of loosens up and maybe doesn't make the best contact with the tip.
Or you drop it on the floor.
Or you drop it on the floor. Our friends at Pure Tone came up with this sort of, the better mousetrap, so to speak. And while it looks complicated and looks like a stereo jack, it is not. Again, it just has a positive and a negative. But what is happening when you plug in the instrument, and it's a little more difficult to plug in, there are 2 of these wires that are connecting with the tip, 2 of these bent pieces of metal, connecting with the tip securely and not allowing for any side to side. And then there's also two pieces of this metal that are pushing in and making contact with the sleeve. So instead of having sort of an open contact point inside the sleeve and then one contact point for the positive, you are getting two contact points on the positive that are pushing towards each other. And then these are also pushing in on the negative, holding the cable much more securely and just giving you a much better fit. Now, I've had people sort of complain to me that, because you hear it click twice. The first time you're clicking, you're actually clicking on those two things that are bracing the negative. And then the second time it clicks, it goes all the way in on the positive. This is an unbelievable improvement in input jack technology. They don't fail. You know, we have had nothing but really, really good luck with them. And they are stock on all Reverend guitars, and they work, and they're cool. The Pure Tone Jack, everyone, thank you for letting me frass.
Well, and that's, okay. So when you say, so that's like you don't get the cutting out thing that sometimes happens.
Yes.
And then you don't, or is it that you don't get that thing where you're like walking around the stage and I've seen this happen too.
There's so many different things that can contribute to all of these things.
Yes.
I mean, you can have a break in the signal chain easily anywhere. But that Pure Tone Jack really does a good job of preventing it from happening right here. You just have to remember that, you know, the double click, and then it is held in there securely. And guitar players are, you know, we're a weird bunch of people. And I mean, I have literally explained to people on the phone, it's supposed to click twice. Well, none of my other guitars click twice.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool, but it's supposed to click twice.
This one does.
Yeah, it's over designed a little, but so what? It's cool, man. It works.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So there you have it. The
All
Pure
right.
Tone Jack, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if somebody wants me to tell a story, I'm scared of that.
Well, okay. So Naylor was at NAMM, right?
He was there.
He was
I
there.
saw him. I witnessed it.
Yep. And he got to talking with Patrick Flores, who works at Eventide, if you guys don't know.
Patrick Flores from Eventide.
Yes.
I got myself a black hole reverb pedal from Patrick here recently.
Oh, it is gorgeous.
it's
It is amazing.
it's crushing. It is in my office on the other side of that wall.
Naylor told him the Bong guitar story, and he wants you to tell it now.
I love it. The Bong guitar story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of course he did.
So look up Bong guitar on YouTube when we're done. And you're going to see this really, really cool old Reverend that is owned by a very good friend of ours, Mike Edison, of upstate New York, but many, many years of Brooklyn and Jersey. Rocket Train, right? The Mike Edison Rocket Train. And he played drums for the Dictators. He was the editor of High Times magazine, edited a bunch of wrestling magazines for years.
This man has had a career.
He has a couple of fantastic books out that I strongly recommend. One of them being I Have Fun Wherever I Go, which is one of the greatest books I've ever read. I just think it's hysterical. And what was the book about his dad was also just super funny.
You are a complete disappointment.
Yeah, you're a complete disappointment, I
Yeah.
think was what his dad whispered to him on his deathbed or whatever, which sounds horrifying. But Mike is so funny and the book is so well written. He's just an interesting character. So one of the interesting things that Mike did, when he was working for High Times magazine, High Times produced a movie starring Tommy Chong. Don't remember the name of the movie. More people have seen Mike's YouTube video about the Bong guitar than actually saw this Tommy Chong movie.
Right.
And he tried to get somebody to build him a Bong guitar, and nobody would do it. And Naylor was like, I'll do it, because he's Naylor. And so he built a phenolic-bodied Reverend, and all of those were semi-hollow. They had a 6-inch wide block of carina down the middle, and the tops and the backs were like a phenolic, and the outside was a injected plastic ring. And they were really, really cool guitars, and that's a whole other conversation that we've had a million times. But the way this guitar was designed, it had a bowl up here for tobacco, and a little tube that came out of the end pin for the smoking of the tobacco. And when you would smoke the tobacco, the body was clear, kind of like a. It's
Like a
kind of hard to
dam.
describe, but you could actually see the whole guitar fill up with smoke, and then when you push down on the trem arm, it was like a shotgun that let air into it. It is hilarious. And Tommy Chong smoked this in this movie, and then Mike Edison ended up with this guitar after production and stuff because High Times
As
bought
you
it.
do.
Yeah, right. And so this guitar, there's an absolutely hilarious video of Mike smoking this guitar online, and there's pictures of it are out there. It's pretty neat. To this day, I get head shops calling here wanting to order one as that video goes around, and like it and now, of course, you would think we would be flood. Now we should just make the damn thing, since
Right.
it's legal everywhere.
Sell in Colorado.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But no, that's not. It sounds funny. It was an engineering feat. It was a thing to behold.
Right.
But it did happen, and it is cool, and I think it's funny that people talk about it and share it and spread it around, and I think it's great that Mike loves it and that Mike still loves us so much. You can usually see Mike playing his Slingshot Hotshot Jr. or his Ron Ashton Volcano out with his bands more often. I don't think the Bond guitar leaves the house very
No, it
much.
doesn't. It doesn't.
But,
I've asked him about it before. He's like, no, you have to come over.
Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, look it up. Look it up on YouTube. It's cool. It's fun. Leave comments. Tell Mike I said hi. He's a good dude. Haven't seen him in a while. Haven't seen anybody in a while. Getting back
That's
there though.
true.
Getting back there, LG. What do we got coming up, LG?
What do we have coming up now?
Well,
we have a big thing coming up. Do
yeah.
we want to tell them about it?
Well, we can if you want to. I know 2 weeks from today, the Polka Floyd show is playing at the Village Idiot.
It's your reunion show.
Yeah. Oh, it's our reunion show. That's right. Yeah. A few months ago, we had our final show, and now we're having a reunion. It's
On
weird how
April
that works. It's
1st.
almost like I'm a liar.
But it was April 1st.
It was
Come on.
April 1st. Yeah, I was just having a little fun. So we're going to play. We're keeping it loose. We're keeping the chops up. It is what it is. I don't know what that means for the next time that we're going to be here. I'll either be back in, I don't know. I'll probably be back next week, and then I'll probably take a couple weeks off. It's probably what I see happening. Stay posted.
Yeah,
We'll keep you posted.
That doesn't work with the
We'll keep you posted.
calendar, but
And
okay.
then next week is July 1st.
That's a
and
week from today.
A week
yes.
from today.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then a little
But then
bit.
we're going to be unavailable the following week, and then we're going to be available the week after that, and then we're going to be unavailable for 2
Yes.
weeks.
Penny and Joe and I are going to South Korea to visit Mir.
We are.
And we haven't done that yet. We'll make sure and take some pictures. We're kind of looking forward to that. None of the four of us have ever been to Seoul, and we're going to spend a little time over there doing some business, and we're going to talk to the people and go through the process of seeing these beautiful guitars being made, among other things. We have friends over there, so it ought to be an interesting trip.
I'm super excited.
And we will keep you posted on all of that. Yeah, it's exciting. Penny has learned Korean.
I haven't learned Korean. I've learned like 10 phrases, 15, something like that.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am Ken, and this is the Reeves Gabrels RG-1. If you have any further questions or comments, we will monitor this thread for the next little bit.
Yeah, a little
and holler at us. And if not, you will know when to see us next, because we'll tell you. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate you.